Maybe you do track one or two.
Good evening, sports fans. Welcome in to Coach's Corner East, live from the Pizza Hut here in Galion on this Wednesday evening, the 20th of October. Glad that you could join us tonight. And we're headed into week 10. It's so hard to believe. It's the fastest 10 weeks of the athletic calendar, I believe, and these coaches will probably agree with that 100%. And a little later on tonight, we'll be speaking with the coaching staff and some of the players, the senior players from Crestline High School. 6:20 approximately, it's going to be the Colonel Crawford Eagles coming off another big win against Bucyrus, and they will be at home, their final game against Seneca East as they prep for week 11. And to kick it off, it's the Galion Tigers, and talking about their week 10 opponent and their perspective for the playoffs in week 11. I want to let you know our show is brought to you in part by Stephen Chuck Keller Auto Parts, your Napa dealer, Uptown Galion and Crestline, Marie Mounts at the Platinum Insurance Agency, your Progressive agent, 131 Harding Way East, Uptown Galion, Joe Klein and Associates at the Galion office of First Federal Bank of Ohio, as well as the Burkhart family at the Burkhart Farm Center, your Case IH dealer, straight west of Galion on the New Winchester Road. And Mike Kleinite at Ag Credit Residential Lending, Bucyrus, Mount Gilead, and Marion. Sweet baby Ray Jones, Davey's little brother, at Ohio Door and Sash, 120 South Street in Galion. To the microphone we go. It's head football coach at Galion High School. It's Matt Dick, and welcome back. Can you believe it's week 10?
Yeah, it's amazing how fast it went. It was a real quick start to the preseason this year, and it just seemed like the season flew by.
Yeah, for sure. And last home game, again, not real great weather, but we come to expect that late in the year. Had some rain. Did you get delayed in that game at all?
No.
No delay. Got right through it. Lima Central Catholic, very talented team, came to Unkridge Stadium in Heisey Park and laid a little bit of a licking on you, 35-7. You now sit at 4-5 overall, 2-3 in the MOAC. Currently 14th in Division 4, Region 14. Average of 8.1667 points. You're about 1.4 points behind number 13 Rossford, and about 0.15 average points ahead of number 15 Huron and number 16 Edison. And those two play each other coming up here in week 10. We'll talk about the playoffs a little bit more, particularly with Coach Roston sitting here because he seems to be Joe Idle II, so we will talk to him about that. But weather did play a factor. Both teams had 2 turnovers, but LCC rolled out to a big first half lead. Carrion Bailey, 51-yard touchdown run on the T-Birds' second drive to open the scoring at the 7-12 mark in the first quarter. Bailey finished the game 101 yards and 12 totes, and then quarterback Carson Parker hit Travis Hoyle Jr. for 32-yard strike on a 4th and 10 with 1:49 left in the first quarter to lead 14-0. And that, I've watched the Browns week after week, and I keep seeing these 3rd and 15s, and that's as good as 3rd and 1 for the opponents. How gut-wrenching was that for you and your defensive staff to have to give up a touchdown like that on a 4th and 15?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought I liked our call. We were in good position. Just sometimes their players make plays, and I think as a coaching staff and as even player, sometimes you just get beat, and that's okay. If you're doing the right technique and you played it correctly, and a kid just goes up and makes a play, good for him.
And Parker, the quarterback for Lima Central Catholic, finished the game just 5 of 9 for 43 yards. Not a real great night to throw to begin with. Your quarterback, Cooper Kent, to Hanif Donaldson for a 43-yard pitch and catch. 44 seconds left in the first quarter to make it 14-7. Hanif finished with 124 yards total offense. Kent, 7 of 20 passing, 97 yards. And even freshman Braxton Prosser was 1 of 4 for 10 yards, got in and took a couple snaps. Gabe Ivy's been really consistent all year, 16 rushes, 78 yards. But really the backbreaker came at the next possession for LCC. They took the kickoff back 90 yards for a TD, and it ended up being a 21-7 lead with 28 seconds left in the first quarter. Pretty high, potent, high offense, lots of scoring in that first quarter.
Yeah, you gotta give them credit. They're a well-coached team, got lots of great athletes. That special teams kickoff return really hurt us. I think we drove down and scored. I was really excited for that. And hey, if our defense gets a stop, now we get the ball probably, maybe early in the second quarter with a chance to tie it. But instead, they go down immediately and score really quick. And I think the next possession, I think we had a turnover, maybe through an interception. So those 2 plays back-to-back, those 2 series, that really swung the momentum in their favor. We did play good defense in the second half. Figured some stuff out. So that was nice to see. Offensively, we did some good things at times, But just, just little things, like little execution, especially like, play action pass, getting the O-line to make it look like run, getting the quarterback to stick the ball in the belly and have a good fake, get the running back to take a good fake. Because we did some good stuff, but just putting it all together has been a real struggle for us. I think some of that comes down to young guys. Some of that comes down to coaches. We've tried different things, and it just really hasn't clicked yet. We're going to continue to do that this Friday, try to find ways to put our kids in good positions. We're excited to see some of those sophomores take a step and help our seniors get a win on the last game of the regular season.
Your comment in the Galion Inquirer, Lima Central Catholic, you got to give those kids credit. They're an extremely explosive offense. Our defense played great all night. We have played great D all year. And that probably has been the consistency to your squad, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you look at, some of the times where teams do score on us, it usually comes down to a special teams or an offense putting them in a bad situation. But to drive the whole length on the field, that happens maybe once or twice the whole night. Other than that, we just stop you. And we bend sometimes, don't break. Like I said, we got some guys that are young, make some mistakes, but it's hard to drive on our defense. We put our kids in great positions, and our kids play with extra heart on that side of the ball.
Total offense was pretty close. LCC, 217 yards of total offense, Galion, 210. And then you went on to say, I can tell you, Pleasant football, they're going to play ball. It's going to be a Week 10 and two evenly matched teams. We're going to have to find a way to win and send the seniors out the right way. Who knows? Maybe we'll sneak into the playoffs. Maybe they're out of reach. But we'll talk about Pleasant here in a little bit. But, that one's over. You got to tell the kids to let it go, move on. They have business to do. You got a business trip to go down to Pleasant this weekend and an opportunity to get better and an opportunity to move up a little bit in the playoff rankings. And what have you talked to them about this week in practice?
I think it's the last week for seniors. We did senior tackle today, and the seniors had lots of great messages about, do school right, stay away from drugs, vaping, alcohol, practice like it's, your last practice every day, just putting all that effort in. Lots of good advice, but I think the one that stuck with me most is the time is so short. It goes by so fast. And I think as a coach, you really see that you're only with this group of guys for one season. That's all you get. Next year, everybody grows, gets bigger, gets stronger, new kids come in, kids move away, kids are ineligible. There's so many things that go on into next year's season. So you can't just be like, all the hay's in the barn, all these kids are coming back, or all that you lost these kids for graduation. Just every year is a new year. And I think this season just really felt short, but it always feels short, especially for our seniors. And they deserve to go out the right way. We got 11 kids that have been doing a lot of good things this year for us, and they've been battling along. We have a small junior class that plays varsity, so it's a lot of sophomores battling with them. And I know that's frustrating having to coach up those young guys, but they've done a great job of it all season long, and they deserve a big win. And I can tell you, Pleasant football they got great tradition. Their seniors are saying the exact same stuff. They're probably trying to slip into the playoffs. So it's very equal, same perspective. I know we got a couple more wins than them, but we're real similar. When you watch film, I think us, Ontario, Pleasant, all three of us look real similar on film, and we played really close games. So it's going to be a fun game Week 10, and trying to find a way to win is going to be exciting.
Very good. We'll take a moment here and break before we talk to the coaching staff around the table. We're brought to you in part by Lee Plimo and Brad Seibert at the Plimo Insurance Group, Galion and Bucyrus, North Central State College, Mansfield, and the Crawford Success Center, North Walnut Street, across from the courthouse in Bucyrus. Phil and Sue Schreck at Phil's Deli, just east of Pizza Hut here in Galion, at the bridge, right down the road from where we are now. First up, Todd Roston, defensive coordinator, correct?
Correct.
And how many years now on the Galion football program?
This is my 12th year.
12th year, but coaching in general, it's been
20, 28, 29.
Oh,
I'm getting old.
schemes change. The way kids you coach them up, they're different kids. But what hasn't changed year in and year out? What do you see as the same over and over again with high school football?
I mean, it comes down to tackling on defense. You gotta have good technique. You gotta fit up and tackle, take them to the ground, and those are some things we practice all the time, and we never perfect them. So we're always working on that.
Coaches talked all year about the young linebacking course specifically, all sophomores, right? And have you ever had a situation like that where you had all young guys, all underclassmen, at such a key position?
It's a special group of kids. They're a good group. They're very willing to learn, and they've taken some lumps this year. Some of these guys they're more physical than them, and but we're hoping that pays off for us in the future.
As you looked at your defense specifically, and you got a lot of these kids coming back, and you think to yourself, as I know every coach, they start thinking a year ahead when the year is about to end. What do you like about this group that's coming back?
We have a really strong sophomore class, be juniors next year. I mean, a good leadership. I mean, I like a lot of things about that group. And then we have a few juniors that we can sprinkle in there too that, contribute. So we're hoping we can get some more of these underclassmen to come up and, get some of those freshmen who are going to be sophomores to step in for us and be able to play and maybe get a couple more juniors out that didn't play this year. We had a couple kids come out this year, seniors that helped us out. And, maybe we get a couple kids, that are walking the halls right now come out and help us next year as well.
Very good. Well, enjoy week 10 and look forward to week 11. You feel pretty good, right? We talked off camera.
I feel pretty good. Yeah, I think we're going to get in.
Okay, so you've done the math. Win or lose, you think you're going to get in at some,
so.
but you're going to be on the road regardless.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So stay tuned to WQEL, WBCO, Crawford County Now. We'll have updates over the weekend on who's in and who is not in. So good luck to you. Thanks for stopping. Mike Marshall is here next, Mr. Grizzly from Wadsworth, Ohio.
That's right.
We had that talk back in July or August, I think, and nearby where I grew up, and on the offensive side, correct? Offensive coordinator?
Yep.
And the offense has been inconsistent. I guess that's a fair word to say. At times it's looked really good. At other times it's been a little bit of a struggle. But again, young kids playing, new quarterback out there. Overall, how have you felt about the way the Tigers have performed on the offensive side of the ball this year, Coach?
Like you said, we've got young kids. We're playing a sophomore at quarterback right now. We got a freshman playing at quarterback. We got a couple of young low linemen. And, just trying to piece everything together, it's taken some time, but, there's been growth there. So it's been a great learning experience for all these kids. And, we're just hoping that it'll help out in the future.
Likewise, you have such a dynamic player like Hanif Donaldson, and he's had some show-stopping times and moments. There's been other times where he's been bottled up. But talk about what it's been like to coach an athlete like him.
It's special. Being here at Galion, we've had some of those athletes going back to Allsip and, Caleb Griffin and some of those guys. So, we've been blessed in the past, and, Hanif's just the next one in line. And, he's learned, he's played since he's been a freshman. So, I mean, he's, as a senior, he's been through those freshman and sophomore years. So, it's been a blessing. He's one of the best players around, and, just being able to feature him and get him the balls, as many different ways as possible has been, a really fun task for us this year.
Likewise, as you go into week 10, and you're getting late in the year, and maybe you have some dusted off plays in the back of the playbook that you haven't quite got to yet. Is that kind of some of the stuff that you and the rest of the staff have talked about? Say, hey, maybe now's the time to get those out and run those.
It's always something fun. I'm sitting there watching a college football game or an NFL game, and I just think how we can, maybe apply it to our kids and, throw them some special wrinkles throughout the week, kind of get them going a little bit. So, there's always things that we've been practicing throughout the year, and, just whenever it's the right opportunity, hopefully we'll be able to break them out, and it'll be good for us.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here, and I don't know if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, but should they keep going for it on 4th and 6 and 4th and 7 or whatever it is in the red zone? Do you like that as an offensive coach?
I get it, from a percentage and numbers wise, I understand, but, you better have the right play dialed up. And so far, it has not been too good for the Cleveland Browns. So, getting sacked on all those 4th down calls. So,
yeah,
they might want to consider, either having a better play call or, giving up that philosophy, I guess.
I guess the Jim Tressel and me would say take the stinking points.
Punt, take the points or punt.
That's right. Well, good luck this weekend into the playoffs, and thanks for stopping out tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You bet. Taylor Sabo is up next. And Coach Sabo, position coach that you are?
Running backs this year and our H-backs.
Okay, so again, you got a guy like Hanif Donaldson that has sometimes been a running back, sometimes been a wideout, but then Gabe Ivey, a sophomore, that has done some really nice things, especially late in the year. What's been dynamic about him specifically that you've really liked?
Gabe, he listens well. Sometimes we got to say it multiple times to him, but he picks it up and he runs with it. He does a good job of just listening to what we're trying to say and takes coaching well. He's just a good kid. He's a fun kid to be around. I'm excited to get 2 more years with him, and I played with his brother, so I'm familiar with just that family and that relationship with him. He just like I said, just does a good job, does his job the way he needs to do it, and he's just always getting better at it. What
do you like that's coming up at the freshman level and the JV level that you saw this year?
Just a lot of young good athletes. And a lot of it just beyond the football. It's just good kids to be around, fun kids to be around. Enjoy talking to a lot of these kids and ones that are coachable. The sophomore class and this freshman class has a lot of kids that are very coachable. They want to play, they want to learn, And, as a coach, that's fun to be around. That's what we want to be around.
Very good. Well, good luck the rest of this year. Thanks for coming out
Thank
tonight.
you.
Appreciate it. Up next, Dalton Flohr is here. And Dalton, position coach?
Defensive backs.
DBs. And you got some young kids back there, too, at times, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you got youth all over the place.
Yeah, correct.
And but you have some seniors. I know you have a couple seniors back there as well. And
Yeah,
you
we
had-
have Falcine borders, so they're pretty much also the captains in that defense too, so they kind of step
Right,
up and help
and
out.
he made a big interception against Ontario to kind of seal the deal, and
Oh, yeah.
you kind of have to be happy about that. As you go on and weather changes a little bit, yeah, you're going to see some passing teams in the playoffs, but a lot of teams will revert back to the run. What are you trying to teach your kids in that defensive backfield right now to respect the pass, but help out with run support as well?
Yeah, well, we always go through this, like our steps and everything, so make sure we're always in the right position, make sure we always have our minds in the game or whatever. So we've been working on like drills and steps that we can do to just cover all the bases and all that stuff. So with these kids, it's really easy to tell them something and they'll pick it up real fast.
Okay.
So it's been really easy when we were trying to communicate and like tell them what to run essentially.
And then this is the expectation.
Yes.
Yeah, very good. Well, good luck to you in week 10 and 11 and beyond, hopefully. And thanks for coming out. Appreciate it. Finally, we have offensive line coach and defensive line. Is that right? Both? Or?
Just offensive line.
Just offensive line, Ryan Scribner. And that's a group that has had success at times. At times, when I've talked to them throughout the year, I'm like, well, what happened? Well, you didn't get the run game going. Well, we just didn't sustain the block, or we didn't get off that block and go to the second level, or we didn't do this. It was always one little thing, and I know that you're coaching them up throughout the year to get ready for that. Have you seen progress out of that group?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, we're going to sound like a broken record. I'm pretty sure all of us said it. We've got a young group of guys. With my group specifically, we got the young sophomores, but they're the type of guys that they're getting to the point where you don't even have to tell them what their mistake is. They're coming up and telling you what they did wrong.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, for us, and that's looking good for our future when you guys that can do that.
Yeah, for sure. And I read something recently, I don't even remember whose quote it was. It wasn't mine. I wish it was. But it said there's only a couple things in life that you can control, and those are attitude and effort. And when you have kids that have the right attitude and want to give effort, you'll welcome those mistakes, won't you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like I said, and I got the group of guys, and they'll come up and say, yeah, I did this wrong, or I took the wrong step. And for the future, the sophomore guys are going to be pretty good someday.
Is their mindset right now? Is it in a good place right now to go into week 11?
Oh,
Not
yeah.
looking past what you have on Friday, but
I mean, our guys, I mean, they've got the right mindset. They want to hit people. I mean, and that's what you want to have a guy. But when it comes to, maybe not the right step or the wrong technique, hit somebody, you need all those techniques and everything else to make a great play, a great block.
absolutely, very good. Well, thanks for stopping out. I appreciate it. Take a break here before we get back to Matt Dick and talking about the Marion Pleasant game coming up. We're brought to you in part by Steve Kurtzman and Associates at Innovative Recycling, 352 South Street in Galion. Candy Bolin at Bolin Realty, 2 blocks west of the Uptown Galion Square, and John Cross at Cross Carpet and Custom Floors, 302 North Celtic Street, downtown Crestline. And it is the Pleasant Spartans, an uncharacteristic 1-8 overall, 1-5 in the MOAC. Their lone win was surprisingly over Division II Marion Harding, a team that beat you earlier in the year as well. Kevin Klein is their coach, and I remember back in the days, the Chris Coobs days, right, and very intense. But as you said, they really haven't lost that mentality. They still want to run the ball. I saw them earlier in the year against Winford, and they did some nice things at times, and then had a little bit of a slip and fell and was tough to recover. Is that what you've been seeing on film?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, the difference between our teams really is, a lot of their guys are seniors that are rolling around there, and a lot of our guys are sophomores. I think that's what's scary. I don't think, the size-wise is really that different. Our styles are pretty similar, but it's a senior versus sophomore in a lot of different categories. And we may, maybe we got the head. We beat Ontario. They lost Ontario. You could argue that we have some momentum going in. But on senior night at home, Pleasant's going to play tough, and our kids got to go out there and earn the right to win on that field. And that's a hard place to play.
Yeah, no question. As you mentioned, they did defeat Ontario, or they felled Ontario last week, 24-21. They average only about 13.6 points a game. and give up almost 35 a game. So if you can get your offense going, the line doing the right thing, and Coach Marshall over here can dial some things up, you may be able to take advantage of it. Jonah Bieber has rushed for 506 yards through 8 weeks and 6 TDs, and Spencer Steed has rushed for 463 and 1 TD. What do you feel that you'll see from them on both sides of the ball, their basic stuff?
Yeah, on offense, they run a lot of power. They got a great H-back, tight end, and running back that are big, strong kids. They're going to kick out, lead up through. We got to stop those guys, and I think, their O-line, sometimes that's what we have to attack. Those guys struggle a little bit up front, kind of like our O-line. They'll hit and miss. They can look good at times. But, their running backs, H-backs, tight ends, all three of those guys are really powerful, strong kids. Defensively, they're Sam linebacker, and they take their running back and they move him all over the D-line, and he makes tons of plays. Big, strong kid. So those two guys on defense are must-block guys every play, and if you don't, they're going to make that.
All right, very good. Well, good luck with your final game of the regular season down at Pleasant. Hopefully we'll get you in. We feel pretty good about the Galion will be in somewhere, maybe 16 up to a 14 seed, depending on how things play out. And we'll talk about week 10 next week. We'll get ready for week 11 next week on Coach's Corner. Thanks a lot for all of you guys stopping out, and good luck here.
Thank you.
Thank you.